Welcome, traders, to Money Mitch. You guys made it. I know you guys probably have missed me, wondering what the heck is going on in the markets. Is this the bottom? Is tomorrow pump and pow type of day? Are we coming in dovish? Are we coming in hawkish? What's going to happen, guys? We'll find out right here. Money Mitch, let's talk all about it. Welcome to the show, guys. Let's go ahead. Let's get it started.
It's time for Money Making Mitch. When investors need a story, we're going to the moon. Welcome to Money Mitch, where story is everything. I'm here to find you the next opportunity. It's all about the green hands. Now we all know the bull market is here to stay. Money Mitch.
What's going on, traders? How we doing out there? I hope you guys are enjoying your market day. Let's go ahead. Let's get right to it. If you guys got a stock you guys want to talk about, make sure you throw it up in the chat. Let us know. Did you find the dip in stock? Did you take a shot? Let us know in the chat. We'll talk all about that. Let's get right into it. Look at this energy sector. I will get into the SPY, but look at this recovery really quickly in oil. I mean, this is what you can call this. I mean, look at that recovery, straight on back on up. We'll see if this continues to take out the highs. I think this is what we need to pay attention to. I'm actually going to draw a resistance on up here. There's one here for my at least sector alert here. I'm going to call that out tomorrow on live trading. Like always, traders, one thing you can do is keep on up with us on live trading. You know, one thing we're going to continue doing on live trading is setting some alerts here on Money Mitch, then watching those alerts hit on live trading and possibly taking those exact trades. So this is why I want to talk about them here on Money Mitch in advance. We'll go ahead and take looks. If that's what happens, that's what swing trading is all about. I want you guys to learn from my mistakes, also from my winners. Hopefully we have some more winners, but let's go ahead. Let's get right to it. Let's see what we saw in the SPY today, guys. So the SPY it was kind of funny. I put out a tweet here and I tested myself. You know, I actually jumped on the Benzinga Twitter and I was like, let's see what I got here. So one thing I've been doing a little bit more is a little bit of fib retracements here. And so I want to just really kind of get this as big as possible so that you guys can see it. And I want to call out kind of what I was looking to see, right? What could I look to see could happen, right? And so with this, I was looking at the SPY and I drew the retracement of the move here on the hourly. And I was looking to see if it was going to hold the retracements here. So it held the 61.8. Then it really held sideways here and started recovering the 50%. That's right above it. The 50% is on up here right about 430s. And so when we started recovering the 430s, I was thinking, okay, we could just get through that 433. And I'm going to show you guys the 15-minute here. And so I was watching it right around here and it was like kind of doing this little wick action here, and I'm looking for it to kind of pop on up through that level. So one thing that we always want to be looking for is when we get these retracements and you draw them out, and let's say the stock's following them, look for the next level to be recovered and it holds sideways at that level. That's exactly what you get here. There's the 50%, and I'm going to draw a darker line on the 50% just so that we can see that mark. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to draw it right here. So the 50 mark is literally right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do this as a purple line here. And we're going to do it nice and bold so you guys can see it. So that line right there, once we recover that line, you want to see it hold and break out from that point. That's exactly what happens here in the SPY. And you start getting that momentum back. Because one thing that we want to do right now is kind of learn what is really bottoming action and where do we see the momentum come in. So this is on an hourly chart. A lot of times I look at institutionals and smarter traders that are trading on the hourly setups versus, let's say, a 1 minute chart, like, us degenerate day traders like to use. I can't blame you, but let's go ahead. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the SPY can get back on over 450 is really the level that we were wanting to watch, but look how we came on up here towards the resistance. And what do we do? Right towards that high, and you can measure that high. The high there was 40, 40, 38. And so if you take a look there, 40, 40, 38, what do we get on up and kind of turn around today? We get on up there right towards the high here. There's the high of 439.62 where we turned around, and right before it, 439.72. So if you look at that, that's right below that 440. 440 is really the part where we started seeing the breakdown. Tomorrow, we're going to look for that long side action to see if we take off. So, what's another way that you guys can look for some confirmation? If you guys actually look on my Twitter, I actually drew this line because I wanted to see if we were going to get on up here and start pushing towards what? Towards from the bottom here towards the top here. And so if you guys look back here, we're actually down here, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, all right, as long as we can get on up there past this line here, this 59, then we can really start getting up to that trend. And we did get up there, but we didn't hold up there on the RSI. We quickly turned around from that resistance. That's what we're going to be watching to see if we can get a back above tomorrow. That's the 440. If we can get back above there, we're fine. What's the danger on the downside? It's this 428. Why is that a danger spot? Because if you look at the monthlies, you're going to see monthly support right on that 428. That's 3 monthly levels that we're looking for to hold as support. If it doesn't hold there, it can really get crushed. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at some sectors, see what we saw out there. We could take a look at the Qs, but telling you the truth, from this monthly candle on technology, I don't think that's something we really want to talk about too much, but you guys let me know what you guys want. You guys can call the shots. I'm going to definitely give some shout outs here in the chat for you guys coming in here, and appreciate you guys joining me. I know I'm normally on at 4 o'clock. We're doing a little bit different things, so I hope that you guys can join me here. Like always, I'm going to give you guys the timing. I'm going to try to be consistent with one timing, not just be at 4 or 4:30. So probably we're going to start doing this at 4:30 every single day. That's what I'll try to get to, so that at least everyone knows what time we'll be on. All right, guys, let's go ahead and give a thumbs up. Super Spackman in the house. Hertz in the house. Pedro, what's up, man? Dylan in the house, of course. Sadat, Roy. What's going on out there, guys? It's good to be with you guys out there. And, of course, Miss Whitehorse, yes, it isn't freezing right now. Hopefully there'll be some snow in a little bit, but we'll see what happens. BGFV, I see a new guy out there. Otang Clang, I'm loving it here. I'll definitely take a look for you. Stick around. I'm going to get into some sectors, but right after that, I'll take some stocks from the chat. So definitely BGFV will be one of those. I've actually called that one out before, so stick around. It's not a bad one to talk about. Roy, Kyle, what's up, man? Let's do it. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look. So energy plays. What can we do? I mean, is oil ever going to turn around, guys? I just don't know here. I started calling out a dip, and it dipped for a couple of days. But, I mean, I can tell you right now, I was wrong on that call because it's coming right back to the highs. Sometimes you're not going to always be right, you know? And Chevron was one that I was calling for their short. And look how this thing rips today. This thing is just completely just ripping on up. Part of this, I think, had to do with no Russian sanctions being mentioned. Of course, there's a lot of conflict out there in Russia right now. We'll see what happens with that. I don't want to speculate on that. But one thing I'm thinking is this is what's affecting oil, and oil is going to keep going on up. This is crazy. I just don't know. We're definitely at extremes. I mean, one thing I use, guys, all the time is the RSI, and I draw the extremes on the upside or the downside. And look how we're up here towards the 90. We were just on up there at 91. Now, if we get back to that level, where are we going to go? It looks like it's going to keep pushing. We'll see what happens on this. I'd be watching the RSI for when energy really flips, because this could be a good trade for the flip on the downside. But for right now, definitely watch out, guys. We're not always going to be right, and we'll see what happens. Russia would affect natty gas, not oil, I heard. Yeah, I mean, I mean, when we look at energy, it's not only that you're looking at oil and gas. You can look for some gas players. Let's look at to see kind of how this utility player is doing. Duke is kind of going sideways. We'll see if this can get back above 105. But hey, that's a utilities. It wasn't the biggest leader today. So financial services getting a little boost today. So the question is, do we start buying the dip here? This is an interesting one because if you look at this trend line that we have drawn, I was looking at this longer term and I was wondering what was going to happen where we're going to get back above this financial line. This financial line goes back all the way, if you really look, all the way back towards the March 2020, all the way up. It touches here, it touches here. Now it touches right here in December. We broke below it and now we're trying to claim back above it. If you look, we're kind of closing right back above it. So that wick candle, it looks like an extreme. And I'm actually looking for this to come back on up here towards the top. If it could come back on up here, I mean, now we're looking for a nice little breakout push, right? And so right now I'd be watching financial services. The first level we're going to watch is for when it gets on up here. That's where it's going to really run into a little bit of a resistance. But you got the 200-day right above it. If they can have a good day tomorrow, I would be really interested. Like, let's say if you get a nice 2-day rally in JPM, Goldman Sachs gets a 2-day rally. This one actually kind of closed red. Look for this one to close green tomorrow. BAC had a good rally today. Look for that one to kind of get a 2-day rally. These are the banks. Watch out. Interest play, right? All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's keep it going. We'll see what happens out there. QQQs are going to be down 5% at the open. Woof, woof, says Roy. We'll see what happens out there, man. Microsoft moves nowhere near what Netflix did. There's much more value in Microsoft. I mean, let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit of Microsoft, right? I mean, I drew out this level today, and I even talked about it, how Microsoft was my determining factor. Determining factor was bullish above 300. Bearish below 282s. What do we do right now with these earnings? We crushed down on the downside, and the earnings weren't bad, at least from what I was seeing out there. I definitely didn't see the worst earnings in Microsoft, but it definitely getting crushed there, down a significant amount, and we'll see what happens there with Microsoft. But it beat earnings and revenue here. I'll give some numbers here. Earnings came in at $2.48 per share adjusted versus the 2.31 per share expected. Revenue was at 51.73 billion versus 50.88 billion as expected. And as you guys can see here, it beat on top and bottom lines, and the stock still drops. So this just showing you guys what relative weakness. We've been talking about it here as what the term that you guys need to kind of really grasp: market breadth. Where can I find this? A real simple one is that I just look at FinViz. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here at FinViz and take a look. See, this is just a free resource out there for you guys out there that want to take a look there. If you look at the SMA 200 right here, you're going to start seeing what 76% now we're moving in the wrong direction, and we continue to move in the wrong direction. This is what I keep hawking on pre-market prep in the morning for Benzinga. Is I'm looking at this every morning and I'm wondering, are we going to go into the right direction, which is the stocks getting into the green above the SMA 200, and we could look for stocks like, let's say, that are actually above, and that's a very low amount. So we'll see what happens. You guys can check that out. That's on FinViz. I just check out that number every morning. It's a really easy way to doing it. But hey, we'll see what happens, guys. Be careful out there. All right, so Microsoft coming down there, really, that's going to drag what? That's going to drag other ones down too, because that's going to drag the indices. That's why you saw I forgot who was it said that it was Roy. Roy said that the Qs were going to be down 5% because, of course, the Qs make up a lot of what Microsoft is. If you look at the capitalization, it's probably the second biggest one right there. And so we'll see what happens. Of course, one thing that I've been watching, and I talked about this, I've been really concerned when Apple got weak, guys. When Apple got weak, I said, watch out, guys, because Apple getting weak was what was keeping us up. And if you actually look at this trend that now we have in Apple, This is not a good trend. This is not what I wanted to see. A favorite, a stock that kept trending on upwards is heading really quickly towards that 200-day moving average. And really quickly, you could probably find Apple in bearish territory. Who knows? I mean, Amazon, big boy, right? Look, look where the 200-day moving average is. It just did what? What is this called, guys? I'll give, you know what? We're going to have a little bit of a giveaway, guys. If you guys smash the like and we get 50 likes today, I'll definitely give this person a swag, but let's at least reward the person who can name this. So this is a 50-day moving average, the yellow line, moving below the 200-day moving average with the price action below it. What is this called? The first person in the chat gets the swag. Oh, looks like my boy was ready for it. My boy was ready. I'm gonna go with the first person that popped up here in my comments on StreamYard, which is of course Super SPAC Man. But I love it. I love it. I love that we got some other people that definitely jumped on in here. So you know what? I'm gonna give the first two people a reward here. Super SPAC Man and Chris G. Chris G. You guys email me at Mitch@Benzinga. Look at our swag. Check it on out. Swag at benzinga.com. You guys can check it on out. Let me know what you guys find. Or you guys can just, shoot me an email, Mitch@benzinga.com. I'll get you guys. But yeah, this is I call it the robot panic point. Yeah, that could be the robot panic point. And that's where the algos probably see it too, right? And so now that we're seeing that, that's not a good sign. And what happened here when we broke through 3,000? Why was 3,000 such an important price point? Because it was literally, guys, we're talking about a candle and a big pattern here that was a 1.3 year pattern that was broken on Amazon to the downside. When you see that happen, look how it reacts on the daily. The daily cracks there at 3,000 and quickly we're down towards 27. We'll see what happens on Amazon. Pay attention to Apple. If those turn around, I'll feel a little bit better. But if these keep coming down and Microsoft keep coming down, watch out. Watch out, you guys. Even the people that are looking at Square, I still don't like this one, guys. I would stay away from Square. I would stay away from PayPal. These guys on CNBC has been recommending PayPal left and right. I'm not going to get into that. I'm staying away from this one. I actually called the warning on these in October, and look where they are. That was back then. Look where they are now. I'm not touching these guys. We'll see what happens, guys. Short everything. Laugh out loud. Hey, you never know. We might have to get to the dark side, guys. I might have to change the intro. They've been telling me the bull market is here to stay. Oh no. Oh no. Who knows what happens out there, guys? All right, let's go ahead. Mitch, you still holding AMC? AMC, let's take a look. Do you think I'm holding this, man? I have a rule, guys. If I see the death cross, I would not be in it. Death cross right here, man. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. I was playing it when it was here. I believed in it. But once we broke down here, and I called it. I remember that day I said, don't break 40. Don't break 40. Don't break. Oh, shit. We broke 40. After that point, sayonara. Same thing happened in GME with a 200 mark. I said, hold that 200. And I love this day. I was so excited this day. I was like, yes, we're coming for that 250, baby. We're coming. Oh, no. 200 breaks down. Oh, no. Look where we are now, $99. $100 down from that. We'll see what happens, guys. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see what happens. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Win actually not a bad looking chart. All right. Basic materials. What happened in basic materials today? Aluminum not having a bad day there. AA up 4 or 5%, 4.7% here. Look for this one. Acoa really recovering there. Also silver recovering. So you can take a look at that. Silver getting a little bit of a recovery there. AG, you got a real support underneath it. If not, you could even look for a short if this eventually breaks a 1010. But look at Cole coming back. So I'm going to put on the radar for us. If we can get back above this kind of line that we've broken out from before, $11 on the upside for Cole tomorrow, we'll be keeping a look on this. If we see Cole up, we'll be looking for BTU to break that breakout. OKTA. Woof. Software infrastructure. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I've talked about those software names. Look at the applications. We've drawn this line out since when? Since December 13th. We drew that line. And that's why I love this program that literally it calls the date on it. So you guys know that I'm not lying. I've left that line like it didn't follow it completely. Did a little dead cat bounce and then just came on down. But man, it keeps coming down. These software names keep getting hit. CRM down 5%. When CRM comes down, look at SAP. SAP is about to break. I've been looking at this one. If this one breaks, oof. This one's going to be ugly too. So we'll see if this one breaks 130s tomorrow. It's tough seeing these because these kind of did a little bit of a bounce yesterday, and I'm sure some people started taking some buys on these, and they could take out the lows again. I mean, we'll see if the low's been put in, but hey, we'll keep a watch on these charts. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take some stocks from the chart. Stocks from the chat, guys. We got about 7 minutes left, so I want to do stocks from the chat. I said that I'd do BGFV. I didn't forget about you, my friend. Let's go ahead to Big Five Sporting Good. Remember, I called this move right here. This was the third high. We talked about this. We were looking for this one. I remember it was so annoying. I was trading this one when we first popped on up there to the 25. Eventually, I got stopped out of this one right before the big move, but at least we kept an eye on it on Money Mitch, and it was perfect. Right when he went through 25 again, he got on up there towards past 40. But ever since then, it's just done a quick reversal and not held. One thing I would do is I'd start paying attention to the highs. Wherever you get a little bounce there in these troughs, you want to see if these kind of peaks are holding and the troughs are kind of creating some support. So you are seeing a little bit of support down here around the 1750s. You are seeing some resistance play into if you draw kind of a trend line over here towards 21. I could see a little move towards 21, but I'd first want to see it get back above 21 before I'm really thinking that it's coming into another action play here. Now, one thing that it is holding in between this gap that you see here on the daily. There's a daily gap back in May. Look for that to come into play. The high on that is around this 2050. That's why I have that line drawn there. Around that 2050, 2060, that's where I would really start looking for it to break through that 21. And then you could kind of play for it on that line. Right now, I would want to see the volume pop, or unless there's like a catalyst, maybe if the earnings are coming into play and you're trying to play it off that support. Kind of understand that. I haven't taken a look in when the earnings are, but we'll see what happens. All right, going to take some stocks from the chat. What's up out there? Outdoor sports going to be big this year. I agree with that. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. The morning guy talked about VIRT. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at that. Virtu Financial. Yeah, this is. I mean, you're talking Virtu Financial. You're talking a what? A lower kind of PE financial stock. It's not a bad one. Remember, we talked about financials had a good move today. I'm going to look for a day two kind of move. So one thing that you got on this one is this is the kind of the second day of this move. Look for it to get out of kind of these levels here. So if we got a little resistance up here around 29, so it needs to get a close above 29 to really start getting a move up there to 30. But it's not a bad one to watch. I like the volume coming back into it. You had kind of a decline in volume, and then what? A little bit of spike going into here. As you're seeing the volume increase, it could be buyers stepping on up here. So let's see if they take control tomorrow on the 29s on Virtu Financial. Got you, Jim. Let's keep going. Just want you to know thoughts on AMAT and AMD. Let's go ahead. This is probably a pretty quick charts touch. Let's take a look at AMAT. Of course, what do you see on here? You're seeing the 50 above the 200-day and the 200-day not holding. But one thing that I want to count on is these are not lost stocks, because every time the 200-day comes into play here, and it hasn't come into play for AMAT in a while, you saw where it touched here, it held that 200-day, right? So we're looking for them to come back and get back above the 200-day. You see how you get this little kind of hammer candle. If that low can hold here, you're fine. But if that low breaks, you're going to break away from the 200-day. And now you're going to start getting these to start curving a little bit. They're going to start looking like they want to come this way. And that's not what you want to see. You don't want to see them come this way because this one's going to move slower. Because why? Because it's the 200-day, and you'll probably eventually get the death cross. It still hasn't really death cross for us. So keep your eye on that one. But for right now, I think, you just got to be careful because it is getting far away from the 50, close to the 200, but the 200 is now above. AMD, AMD's right at the 200 breaking point. If it breaks through that 108, 105 level, we don't want to see it come back down below 100. We know that was where it broke out from. And so a lot of times when we retrace 100% of the move, essentially we are negating that last trend breakout. Why does this matter? Because a lot of people try to look at left, right? They always tell you, they tell you all the time, look left on the charts, look left. But if we look left and the trend retraces the whole 100% of the last spike, then really this is not a trend that's catching again because you're retracing way too far down. So this is where you got to be careful because AMD can start turning into a bearish move here. And it's really kind of on a weak side and just following tech, really. But I mean, AMD is definitely, I think, my favorite in all the tech. So I'm not going to be kind of bearish long term. But I mean, for right now, with the way the environment is, you just want to kind of stay away from tech right now. I don't think you're trying to call the bottom on these stocks because even if you call the bottom for one day, what are you going to miss out on? Like maybe 2-3% here. What we're not trying to do is just keep giving away money right now. All right, let's go ahead about the Fed tomorrow. Let's go ahead talk about the worst case situation. I like the idea. I like the idea, Chris. We can do that. So we're going to talk about the Fed. So what's going to happen there is really, I think, and these are kind of guesses. We don't know what's really going to happen. So full disclaimer, I'm just trying to give you guys my opinion. My thought is you guys focus not necessarily on the rate hikes, not necessarily on the taper, but on the assets selling off. Because when we got that mention and we get the minutes kind of later, remember when we got those December minutes in January and how we reacted? What did we react on? We reacted on the news that the Fed was not only talking about tapering, but they were thinking about starting to sell off the assets. If they sell off the assets, what does that do? That creates selling pressure, right? I mean, just the mechanics of that, right? And so that's not just taking your hand off the buy button. That's actually now switching that button on over to now I'm going to actually, not only am I stopping that buy button, but I'm going to actually hit the sell button. That's a concern because we're already getting that downward action from the interest rates, right? And this is because of borrowing of money. So tech companies can't borrow money as cheap as they were in a very low interest rate environment. That helps for tech companies to continue to have big, massive growth plans because they can get bigger and bigger loans. They probably locked in a lot of money, but now you're seeing that that valuation come on them because, of course, they have a lot of debt, but at the same time, they're big growth machines out there. So I'm not too worried about tech over in the long term. I just think this is really a battle of interest rates, really a battle of the Fed pulling the taper. And what I think you'll hear more about is concerns about inflation staying up and that they're really focusing on that they're not focusing on the market. The market doesn't drive them. But of course, I mean, we all know how that works. We'll see what happens with the hike rates and the stocks. Like always, guys, that's going to do it for me right now. It's going to be 5 o'clock here. I hope you guys have a good one. Hit the thumbs on up before you get on out. If you guys appreciate this show, I'm going to keep going longer if we need to. but it's all about you guys out there. Leave some comments. Tell them I want Money Mitch on for an hour. I'll stay on for longer. Wish you guys the best. Pedro, Hertz out there, John. Hey, we'll see you guys tomorrow on Pre-Market Prep. Until then, hit the like button and we'll keep going on Money Mitch.
It's time for Money Making Mitch. When investors need a story, we're going to the moon. Welcome to Money Mitch, where story is everything. I'm here to find you the next opportunity. It's all about the green hands. Now we all know the bull market is here to stay. Money Mitch.